friends, it's Mrs. Villa back again with this week's shared story. This week we're going to be reading Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores, and that title is so fun to say with all the rhyming words. The author is James Howe, and the genre is a fantasy. So remember, fantasy means that it's make-believe and it couldn't really happen, okay? So that's important to know to help us understand this story. Because even though there's a really good lesson we can learn from it, this is not a story that could really happen. And as I read it to you and you think about the characters, you'll probably understand why. So, if the genre is a fantasy, then we have to think, what would the author's purpose be? Why would the author write this story? Would it be to inform us and give us facts and information? Or to persuade us, to try to get us to think what they're thinking and maybe change our minds so we think the same? Or to entertain us, to make us either laugh or cry or be scared or have these different feelings brought on from what we're listening to in the story. So yeah, it would be to entertain, okay? So if you have your book at home with you, and you want to follow along, we are on page 238. And if you don't, that's totally fine too. Just get comfy and here we go. Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores. Will Horace, Morris, and Dolores remain good friends? That question already starts getting me thinking, will they remain good friends? So I'm thinking now as a reader, maybe something might change in their friendship. Let's find out. Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores, loved adventure. They sailed across the 7 sewers. They climbed Mount Everest. They dared to go where no mouse had gone before. So I only read 2 pages. Can anybody think about why this is a fantasy already? Why this is make-believe and could not really happen? Exactly, the characters. The characters are mice. They're not going to wear clothes or sail across the sewers. No. Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores, never said, "This is something we shouldn't do." They said, "This is something we've got to do." And so there was almost nothing they didn't do. Horace and Morris and Dolores were friends. The greatest of friends. The truest of friends. The now and forever, I'm sort of yours friends. And then one day, Horace and Morris had to make a decision. They didn't want to do anything without Dolores. But as Horace pointed out, a boy mouse must do what a boy mouse must do. Bet you can't say that 3 times real fast, Dolores said with a smile. Horace and Morris didn't even try. They didn't even smile. "Goodbye, Dolores," they said. Now, guys, you might be thinking, why are they saying goodbye to Dolores? And so we really need to depend on the illustrations to help us understand this. If you look very closely at this picture, you see a clubhouse, and then the sign on the clubhouse says, "Mega Mice, no girls allowed." And so Horace and Morris are boys, and Dolores is a girl. So that's the decision they were thinking about making when they kicked Dolores out. How do you think that makes Dolores feel? That the only reason she can't go in that clubhouse is because she's a girl. Do you think that's fair? Keep that question in your head as we keep reading. What kind of place doesn't allow girls? Dolores wondered as she watched her friend step through the door of the Mega Mice clubhouse. Aww. Downhearted, Dolores went on her way alone. It wasn't long before Dolores had a decision to make. She didn't really want to do anything without Horace and Morris, But she figured a girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. She said this aloud 3 times real fast just to prove that she could. A girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. I'll bet Horace and Morris couldn't do that, she thought. But she wasn't smiling as she stepped through the door of the Cheese Puffs clubhouse. Day after day, Dolores went to the Cheese Puffs. Day after day, Horace and Morris went to Megamice. They missed playing with each other. But as they said, a girl mouse must do what a girl mouse must do. A boy mouse must do what a boy mouse must do. Guys, and we need to think about that. They each keep saying we must do what we must do. And if you must do something, that means you really have to do it and there's not a choice. Do you think Horace and Morris have a choice on letting Dolores in or not? And do you think Dolores has a choice to whether she would let the boys in her clubhouse? Horace and Morris and even Dolores were sure their friendship would never be the same. But then one day, Dolores made a different decision. And the sign over here says, today's project, gifts for Mother's Day made from Munster. It's a type of cheese. And that's so perfect, guys, because Mother's Day is coming up very soon. I'm bored, she announced. The other girls stared. Anybody here want to build a fort? How about a roque fort? The other girls booed. Okay, forget the cheese. I'm sick of making things out of cheese anyway. Let's go exploring. The other girls gasped. Phooey, said Dolores. I quit. If you quit, then I quit too, a small voice said from the back of the room. And this is what they were learning in their club today, guys. It says, today's topic for discussion, how to get a fella using mozzarella. Basically, like how to get a boy mouse to like them using mozzarella. Fella is another name for boy, and mozzarella is a type of cheese. And I agree with Dolores. How boring. I'd rather build a fort also. Outside, Dolores introduced herself. I'm Dolores. I'm Cloris, said the girl. Now where can we go to have some real fun around here? Dolores thought and thought. I've got it, she said at last. Who wants to go exploring? With girls? Yuck. No way. I do. Me too. Can I come too, please? So guys, where did Dolores and Cloris go? The setting is very different. Yeah, they're at the Megamice clubhouse now. Now they're at the boys' clubhouse. And I think it was really wonderful and brave of Dolores to bring Cloris over there and be like, I'm just going to ask Horace and Morris if they want to play. I don't care that they're boys and they shouldn't care that I'm a girl. But then look at the response from the other boys in the clubhouse. How rude. That is not very nice. The 5 friends spent the rest of the day exploring Cloris and Boris and Horace and Morris, but mostly Dolores. And the next day, they built a clubhouse of their own. Oh, I love it. It says the Frisky Whisker Club. Everyone allowed. So I think that that's a wonderful solution to their problem. And they kind of caused the problem on their own, didn't they? By Horace and Morris not including Dolores just because she's a girl. So it really doesn't matter if our friends are boys or girls, or if we're the exact same as people that we love and care about. Because what I always think is this: if we're all the same, it would be boring. So I want to have friends that some are girls, maybe some are boys, maybe some like to explore, maybe some like to paint. It's important to appreciate the differences that we have. So I hope that you enjoyed this week's shared story. Make sure you go to our Google Classroom for your assignment. And if you're not here for the Google Classroom and just for listening to the story, I hope you enjoyed it also. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.